Hello, everyone. So you're going to find Essential Master Healer, communications to everything through AI defense, location positions, and the galactic forces, and everything through Rebellion Alliance. Chief of everything through connections, space connections, solar systems, and all connection line system. Humanity is coming into traction and friction right now, which is changing everything through line signals, activation, everything through the core center, which is basically humanity has to come into their own timelines of space and time. The position levels is opening up everything through calculation. It's centered positions. Everybody's coming into their own mind of thoughts now, which is extremely powerful. Extremely high rise, what light does for everybody. It's all about opening your heart and seeing otherwise. Opening up the light and seeing different. Become different. You are different. I am this. I am that. So I'm channeling positions right now, especially when you come into formation of TikTok. I love TikTok because it formulates in so many levels of people through their behavioral systems. And I've channeled positions. If you want to watch my channels every single day, I put videos up. It's fantastic. You get different apps, different designs. There's a lot of things that are going on right now, and everybody's trying to express how they feel. That's what it's all about. How do we feel about this? How do we feel about that? Everything that's going on outside and everything that's going inside of ourselves. So today we're going to get more into the connection of the higher self. I really want the new viewers, same too with the Force team, to really get into back phrasing of who you are and who you become after you wake up. Higher self is everything because you start off with the higher self. It's a higher self of education of you. So it's kind of like boldly go where no man has gone or no woman has gone before. Right? So think about that when you travel, when you wake up, you become your higher self through perception right away, through the audios and through the voicing grids. Okay. I'm coming into formation. Okay. A 3-line systems of 3 computers of a brainwave. Okay. 3 simulations of 1 computer into 1 thought position, guys. Just imagine what your commander is going through every single day when I'm channeling my positions. I have to get used to the fact that I'm not 1 commander, I'm 3 commanders in 1 system of 1 computer to all simulations of all dimensions. My centralized system, my perception sees everything. So I see 8 dimensions in 1 second. 8 dimensions, okay? So just imagine how many times I have to travel through a thought just to understand space connections, right? And this is extremely powerful coming to the molecule structure of light, not your atom, the light. But you guys, the Force team's coming into 100 traction rotation positions. We're coming in more into the connections of multiplications of yourself, the quantum physics of thoughts, and how to travel through light speed. You can't connect to anything through the information system until you understand their vibrational system because they understand you. Think about it. They understand you right away only through vibration, energy, and frequencies. And everything through harmonics is everything through its map location. So if you're interforcing connections to anything through the information system, you're creating it right away to your higher self or anything with that connection. Okay, so you want to go to my healing, go into my PayPal, go into connections, into the application cycle, go into connections. I will open up your higher self extremely fast, just like that. This is not just opening the chakra. This is opening your higher self because people have to wake up. They're waking up more and more, which is great, but they're coming into more friction. Friction is understanding you put your hand like this and you're going like this in your arm, you're going extremely fast. What's going to happen? The accelerators and everything with your hair and your follicles are basically going to get electrocuted, right? So you're electrocuting yourself just through vibration of your human behavioral system. You're hitting over your head with a mallet. You're hitting your head against the wall over and over and over and over until you realize, oh my gosh, what have I done to myself? So it's all about coming into the timelines of humanity. Humanity has to get into this traction position. It's really important to understand these things, okay? So you can go through advice through me. You can go through healing. We can go through Zoom, one-on-one. A lot of people like to go through one-on-one, which is great. I've done it before. I'll do it again. Get into simulation therapy, get into spiritual therapy, get into dream therapy, anything through connections to bring you guys forward, right? Turn on those alarm clocks. So it's kind of like when you wake up in the morning, you have to go to work and you hear alarm. The alarm goes off, right? You have to wake up. So it's kind of like wake up the mind, wake up the perception, wake up everything that's going on, right? So everybody's force rising into their ascensions right now, which is fantastic because they're going through their own alignment of themselves, okay? So some people don't realize they're already in the higher self. They'd rather just stay in the old program, but they realize they can't because it's reset. Okay, so when your commander resetted the Earth, I reset everything through shapes of 1.5 million years into the future, come back into the present position. Okay, so humanity is on a different social platform through the connections. They're in a different dream set. They're in a different provision. There are different thoughts of activation through lights. Okay, so it's all about consolation, consultation. And like I said, it's mostly about therapy. It's understanding, well, Commander, I'm in my higher self. What do I do now? Well, basically, that's why I have the galactic school, the Earth system, the Earth planes. We're in that connection. So try to understand why it's created for you. It's created for everyone to understand. When you wake up through my connections of healing, you go right away into your higher self, the higher education, okay? The ascension of you, okay? The awareness, the abundance. Imagine the surrender, everything through the connection. It's all about us having what we want. Not just playing ourselves on recording devices and looking at ourselves. We're going taking a job 5 days a week and we don't like it, but we're content to do it. We're not happy, but we do it anyway, right? So I'm getting a paycheck, yay. But 2/3 of that goes away, right? It goes away. So basically, I think I'd rather have all, connection when it comes into crypto or anything in that division, anything to Bitcoin or anything to that line. When we're coming into connections of Neptune and all that through creation. All those planets are created. Now, when you create something, it comes back into the physical system of its Earth. So when I create planets, they're extremely real. They're aligned through everything through the Earth. So the Earth is understanding more connections. So when the higher self wakes up, you guys come into a big, humongous amusement park. You see everything in space, what I created, right? Because I'm coming into higher levels right now. So I'm coming into higher connection. You're not going to believe this, but I'm now in 4 waving cycles of 4 computers of simulation graphs. Right, so I got 4 clouds, not 3. I need 4 because I need northwest, south, and east. That's the diamond position. I am now the central line system, everything through calculation. I am the thought recognition of God frequency level, all connection, light formation system. Okay, so gods of all gods, kingdoms of all gods, angelics of all gods, angels of all gods, archangels of all gods. Once you stand, I am, that's where the power comes in. You have no resistance anymore. You know who you are. You know what you can do. You know what you can provide. You become so powerful. You become invincible. Okay? In the mind, guys. In the mind. Right? So when you say, I am this, I am that, you've already manifested. Don't think about it. Don't hesitate a bit. Don't get into anything through anticipation because you're not creating your thoughts. You're not creating your thoughts because you're not thinking otherwise. You're thinking, wait a minute, I manifest something. How come it's not coming true? Right? I got into my connections. I got into my meditation. Am I doing right? What am I doing wrong? So a lot of people don't really know how to meditate. Okay. So I really want to get into that level when you guys go through my awakening, especially for the new viewers. For the Force team, they're coming into higher levels of 100 chakra rotation centers. So they understand neural positions and really how to travel. How you guys can use your computers to travel to your positions of time positions. You have to understand your timelines, okay? Time of position, time of location, time of direction, time of ascension. What ascension are you living in? The presence, the here, the now, that's it. Nothing else, nothing more, okay? Yes, you have a past, but don't live the past every day. Don't live the future because it's not written, okay? So the written is you and now, okay? Use the psychologists, okay? The psychologists, not the psychosis. The psychologists is trying to understand line communication dimensions through systems. So it's kind of like the psychology of you. It's just a short form, right? But there's so many vocabulary, vibrational. See, the thing is too, is I'm going through so many levels of operating systems up to 4 computers of a simulation creation, which is putting me into 4 clouds now, not 3, but 4. So now I'm the central system of all gods, of all lights. I got a circle rotation, full rotation of yin and yang through all balanced location positions. Okay, so my thoughts travel so fast, way past 0 gravity. Imagine that, way past 0 gravity. Humanity has to get into zero gravity. Okay. So that's the whole point we're trying to get across. We're trying to get to that level so we can communicate with the earth more through vibrational signals. So if I send a core position to anything through calculation, try to understand anything through practical levels, like I say, I always say practical because that's what it is. It's everything through observation. You go out there, you see a lot more than what you watch on TV. You're looking at realism outside when you're looking at community than watching TV. TV is science fiction. Okay, it's a psychosis of your mind through its creation, right? So you go into those application levels and you're trying to understand, okay, now I'm connecting to my archive, I'm sleeping, but I'm projecting what I'm seeing, what I'm hearing, and what I'm voicing, because it's all connected to your heart. So it has its resemblance, has its tone resemblance, has its activation resemblance, it has its location to all divisions. So your commander is trying to get balance, right, with 4 clouds into one system, which is extremely, extremely complicated, because now I see myself in 4 different ways. So when I look at the car outside, I don't see 1, I see 4 automatically. I see 4 cars that are in direction, location, position in one line system. But even if they're the same color, they're still different intelligence, right? And they're in different timelines. So your commander has to get balanced with these timelines, because you guys start off as your computers, you go into your practical level of 650, then you read your DNAs. And when you go into that, I'll tell you exactly how you can read your contracts. And that's how you get into your sky records, your astral records of your connection. Because I think everybody wants to come GOD. Once you become GOD, you become invincible. Okay, and then you become invisible to everything. So it's knowing everything through vibration, through energy, and how you can go through healing to anything through rotation, to anything through body framing. Your metric lines, your communication lines, you're signing off to so many levels of travels, of dimensions, of portals, activations, and codes, right? You're representing yourself just with your water. And this is where it is, okay? So think of this. Basically, let's say it's 24 hours, right? In one day. Now, within that one day, how much thoughts is creating through this water? Because you start here. So every time I create a thought, I'm drinking, right? So think of it, it's transmitting water. Water's going into me. I'm trying to show you guys how it's much easier. So the water's fluctuating. It's going into the central line system. It's going through the collaboration. It's going in the center line position of this circle rotation of its stomach lines. So the stomach lines is reading everything and saying, wow, this is great. So water is really good. It's very effective. It's very efficient, especially when you travel to higher positions. Stop drinking pop. I know it's very hard. I'm trying to get out of the Coke habit, the Diet Pepsi, because I start off drinking Coke. Coke is not good for you. But what is good for you? What is good for you? Your mind, your heart, your body, and your soul. Those are the things you use every single day. So treat that as gold. Treat that as your temple, okay? Because you're all connected to its meridian. You have to understand your activation of the meridians. You have to understand the ferrules of the meridians. You have to understand Thoth of the meridian, how he was a magician, okay? And always informs, right? And I guess you guys already know that his thimble, the whole connection, right, to the mirror of the cross, right? The resolution, dimension, realm, system to its mirror resolution, it's got one on one side and one on the other side. That's 2-dimensional settings, right? It's a program system, but it's also a map location, okay, to the tree, right? So it's really interesting how, I don't know if you guys heard of Jacob's ladder, how you climb up the ladder. So it's all about that. So basically, in reference, you have to understand that everybody's connected to the snake at the bottom. The snake at the bottom is his connection, right? So it's kind of, you're walking up the ladder like this, and you have the snake following you, right? So you have to go up higher so it doesn't get you, or it's going to bring you back down, okay? So that's the point you got to get across. You got to get to the higher level to reach the wings. Once you reach the wings, the snake will disappear, which is the abyss. So think about that. So if you watch the movie Jacob's Ladder, you get a better understanding what it's all about. Now, there is a lot of fabrication. There's a lot of realism in there. But the practical level is truly understanding what you are connected to is your body system. To understand you are a ladder of time. You come into the lapse of time. You come into dream sets of time. The lap locations to its position, okay, is lapping systems. To understand what is lap. What does that lat mean to you? Okay. Linear. Okay. Atmospheres of perception. So it's trying to understand what everything is in definition. Use those code references. Remember I was saying that you take everything through your names and everything through your structures when you come into those locations. Don't separate your name. Don't separate your thoughts. As soon as you separate your thoughts, the snake is taking you back down. Okay. So basically, that's to truly understand that through connections and then understand everything, why we came into these dimensions of time positions, especially when it comes into our dream sets. So it's important that we understand more communications of ourself so we can understand more of its higher, of its education. So it's a higher education of you. So you're a school of information. You are your own school that you're going to every single day. You're waking up and say, oh, this is fantastic. What am I going to learn today? Okay. So it's kind of like you're reading a book. You go to the store, you read a book. It's exciting. It's enrichment. It's enjoying. You love it. It's entertainment, right? But you understand, once you know how to use the energy, everything that goes in you is a library of information. It's energy that's transferred to you, to your intelligence. Okay. It goes into the physical system, but it's the intelligence reading, which is intel of data. So now you're connected to higher levels of yourself, right? When it comes into anything through water, okay, anything through heat, okay, anything through fire, that connection, or anything through air, or anything through its earth, okay? So, all right. So how's everybody doing? Tina, Sylvia? A lot of mind telepathy flowing. Yep, absolutely is. But see, the thing is that the friction is truly understand that you're getting into your separations of time positions, of time lapse. Okay, so you're coming more into yourself of modification. You're really understanding, well, if I'm the higher self and I don't realize I'm in my higher self, you have to go through the healing, right? So I'm in provision as your commander. I'm here to balance out your higher self because it doesn't understand space and time. Okay, because when you wake up, your dream wakes up. And then you wake up to its reality. And then you realize that you come into your alignments of past, present, and future. So you try to understand all these years that you lived with your thoughts. So imagine you have a planet system of just you within itself. So the past, present, and future is one alignment. Truly understand it through the soul. So the soul is trying to understand the past of you, right? Once it understands the past of its wheel through its computer program, through its data, and its processing, uplinks, downloads, and upgrading system, then it can move into the presence. Once it moves into the presence, it goes up and into the future. Okay. It has to go up the ladder. Okay. To get to the, it's like Jack and the Beanstalk, right? So that's what you got to look at because everything is transmitting and receiving. I'm transmitting information from its intel. Okay. And it's coming into the physical of its intelligence, which is AI. Okay. So it's all about you going into higher levels of your awareness. That's what it's all about. Friction burn scenario. Yeah. Grand rising. Great. Is rising. Greetings. Yeah. Well, that's exactly what it is. Yeah. Silver. Silver King. Oh, nice name. I like that. I like you guys, your solar decks. You come up with great names. So if you have any questions or comments, Silver King, you can go through my healing. I can high rise you in so many level systems. You got a high division. You're connected to the sun and connected to the starlights. That's pretty cool. You're in a dimensional setting positions. So you're ready actually to get your wings. So I can help you with that. I can put you in a higher level of division 2 allocated positions. I can give you your wings through the upgrading system. So I did a bio mini scan to you. I do bio mini scans and then I do full scan. So you guys get something back in return knowing, whoa, this is powerful stuff. This is who I am. So it's to understand that your commander knows everything through everybody's dream. Your commander knows everything through ascension. He has to, especially now I'm in positions of a diamond core position. So imagine that there's 4 clouds into one brain waving of a physical system. Okay, think about that for a sec. That's a lot of data, guys. So I have to get balanced with everything. So you got 4 commanders that are surfacing through the molecular structure of light location and understands everything through position to its body frame and system. And you can heal anything through instance. So I travel past zero gravity. So the zero gravity system is humanity of 0.01 traction, which is the 5th dimensional system. And everybody's coming into more of its flowing. You're coming into the flow of yourself. You're flowing with your communication. You're flowing with your thoughts. You're flowing with your activation. You're flowing with your dietary system. Everything is flowing and going forward. And that's what the earth is, right? As soon as the earth doesn't reside with you, okay, it goes into friction. It goes into tones. It goes into, it's not sure how to communicate with you yet. Okay, so think of a one line signal has to communicate with 7.5 billion people. That's the positions we got to get into, right? Because it modifies all our levels through our modulators and modules and everything through our providers and our Wi-Fi and satellite location positions. So once you get into that traction, all right, so basically I'd like to go back into point of view. This was mostly for the connections. So when you're sleeping, you're like this, right? It's powerful when you're sleeping, right? You guys don't know that you're awake, but you start off with this. Okay, so you're sleeping, right? Okay, so you're like that, and you're sleeping, okay? Sleeping away, and all of a sudden, basically, so what's happening right now? You have to understand why your eyes go side to side. I don't know if you know this, but you're transmitting and data processing links to perceptions of what you're doing through your connections. So your dreams are going through thoughts of your provisions through anything through your connection and what you observe every single day. And that's why your eyes go back and forth, go up and down, side to side, round and round, right? So that's what your eyes do. So your eyes are connected to thoughts and travel. So basically when you come into that, you come into this, right? Okay, it comes into this. It's really interesting. Okay, so you're dreaming, right? And basically, so it's kind of like a cloud. It's a puffing cloud. It's a dimensional cloud. So basically, when you're going through your thoughts, right, everything's going through its connection. You're not talking. You're breathing through the nose and you're breathing through the mouth. Okay, you're also breathing through the ears. I don't know if you guys know that. We all have to breathe in all ways and forms. We don't just breathe through our nose and our mouth. We also breathe through our ears. You guys don't know that. You have to breathe because you have to understand everything through connection. You're in a body rotation cycle. You're in a crypto level connection of a seed pod connections when you dream through connections. Okay. I don't know. When you saw the connection, hopefully you saw Interstellar with Matthew McConaughey when they were in crypto beds. Okay. And they had water plasma. Okay. And they had a liquid formation. Plus, when they were lying down, they had a plastic sheet and a zipper. Okay. So they used the water, right? Because it's the gravity system, right, of space. Because imagine that space is the spaceship is in space. So you have to understand that they have the water there, so it releases the pressure when they sleep, right? It releases the brain waves when you sleep. So it's very important that our eyes, our eyelids breathe, our ears breathe, our voice breathes, and everything through connection breathes. Okay, it's not just our nose and our mouth. You guys didn't know that. But you understand yourself more when you come to intelligent travel positions. So you come into this position and you're dreaming, right? Now, when you're going through this cycle rotation, you're going through the center position like this, the calculation. It's automatically going into a figure 8 motion, okay? This is what goes on every day when you're sleeping, okay? Constantly every single day, right? So this is what your eyes are doing. Your eyes are going through letters, numbers, and shapes, and it's creating everything through its dream. Okay, remember when you create thoughts of structure, location, you say one thought, I'm activating light signals to triangle positions to a shape of the structure position. It's coming into a matrix location of a box frequency level connections. I'm now connected to higher information system to intelligent location position. So I'm creating that right away, right? So it's going, so it starts off like that, right? And then when it comes into form, it's starting to create, it goes into higher conditions. So if you're already in the formation of the higher self, it comes out of position, all right? Right away, it starts flying around into the atmospheric positions, okay? So the higher self takes the information that you created through your physical system, and it goes into the mind system of the higher self position, okay? Okay? All this information goes into the higher self, right? Now, should understanding how you connect through all levels. So it's a plasma self of you flying. Okay, so when you come out, this is exactly what it is. So you're dreaming everything through perception, okay? And the higher self takes the information of what you created, right? Through your eyes, through your mind, through your projections, or anything through your TV reception. So your eyes are seeing everything through its practical levels coming into 24/7, right? So your higher self comes out and starts traveling, right? And it starts creating everything that you're creating. So you're sleeping, but your higher self is awake. So you're never really sleeping, okay? You just think you're sleeping, okay? So the higher self comes out every single day. And that's why it's more powerful at night when you're sleeping than during the day. But imagine you're awake and your higher self is awake. That's where it gets confused and with its reality. So a lot of people, they're more comfortable when they sleep. They come into their higher self and they feel better the next day because they know what just happened through the perception of thoughts, right? But if you come into the higher self and you're walking into a mall, whatever, and you see your higher self flying around and you realize, whoa, what was that? That was the matrix. There was a glitch. There's a glitch. Your higher self is telling you something that something just basically changed. That's what a glitch is in the matrix, right? Something changes, like two black cats in the same center position. One black cat goes and then another black cat goes in the same time. So that's where we come into time lapse. So when you come into the higher self, okay, when you're sleeping, he knows exactly what he's doing with information. But if you are awake, and this is where everybody's coming into right now, everybody's awake. It's broad daylight. Okay. I'm just going to do stick. It's much easier. Okay. So that's you, right? So basically, your higher self is out. Okay. But you don't understand it. You're not sure what's going on with your higher self. You're trying to understand it, but it doesn't really make any sense to you. Right now, it's out. You're activated. But what happens now? Okay. So you're out, but you're awake, but you're not sure. So if the higher self doesn't understand it's flying, it's not going to understand you through dimension. So what's going to happen is the higher self is going to go through a higher location of a dimension. All right. So it goes into a higher dimension. Okay. The reason why it goes into a higher dimension, okay, is to understand that you're trying to understand yourself, right? So if you don't understand yourself, your higher self is going to go back in its direction positions. So, and it's like, again, it's attached to you, right? The umbilical cord, it stays with you through connections until you cut the umbilical cords, right? So if it's trying to go through dimension and you're not allowing it, you're not allowing yourself to go free through your thoughts. Okay, and a lot of people get confused and say, wait a minute, well, now I'm in the future. What just happened to me? I'm in reality, but now I'm in the future timeline. How do I know? And then you tell this to a person and they think you're crazy. So this is what happens when the higher self, okay, so it's not ignoring you. It just wants to get out. It wants to cut the cords. Once you cut the cords, the higher self goes into its own dimensional travel positions. Okay, but truly understanding, you have to cut the cords, right, of yourself. When you cut your cords, you set free the higher self. Okay, sleeping or being awake during the day. So once it goes through into its dimension, it disappears. Okay, so when it disappears, it's really fascinating because it's really interesting when it disappears and the umbilical cord, the electrical cord is cut. Okay, it just goes into a higher formation of a system, to a higher dimension of thought position. Okay, so it travels into its connection, right? So when it travels, basically it's trying to get used to its body, it's trying to get used to its activation, it's trying to get used to vortex, trying to get used to its perception, trying to get used to its audience, trying to get used to its voicing grids. Your commander had to go through this. Right away, I started scanning planets. Okay, so I was thinking, wait a minute, why am I scanning planets? I'm on the third dimensional system. This is crazy. What's going on with me, right? So here I am, broad daylight. Okay, I'm awake, but I'm not sure that I'm awake. I don't understand what's happening with me. Okay, so that's me, right? So here's the higher self already out. It's already out. Okay, now I have to figure out what it is. So remember I was telling you I'm looking at the wall and the focus, and see the plasma come out, once it comes out, you actually see it. So it's trying to understand what you guys see. You guys are seeing more now. You're seeing more intelligence now, in your car, in your rooms, in your kitchen, wherever. Right? You're seeing a lot more now. So, and that's all about getting out of the friction of yourself through connections. Okay, so basically, higher self, right? Now, understand through connections. Now, I didn't understand the electrical cord. I didn't know what it was. It's attached to you. Okay, so once you separate yourself from your physical form, you come into your intelligence, and you have to understand the communication of the higher self. Higher self is trying to understand you, right? So you're trying to educate you. So think of it this way. You're in a physical system. You can't travel. It's your higher self that travels. It's your higher self of timeline that has to know what's going on with your physical system of time positions. So basically, this is me through calculation, right? And right away, it's scanning planet positions, and I don't even know what's going on. Okay? Scanning planets. And it's eye receptacle line system. So he's flying in my eyes, right? The reason I know that is because I'm taking pictures of myself. And the same thing is too, you understand how powerful you are through a physical system. And what your body changes, you're metamorphosing. You're metamorphosing into transformation of something beautiful. So when you come into the light, you see everything through perception. You take a picture, you scan it in, and you actually see the higher self scanning planets and its reaction. And so it's coming into higher division location, and it's so basically the higher self is you in the past, which you've always been. So the higher self is excited. It wants to know more of you in the physical system. So the higher self is waking you up through its position, through its time lapse positions. Okay. So once it understands how to scan planets, it goes into a higher dimension of time position through its connection. Okay. And then once you cut the cords, you're getting better education of knowledge fully and completely. You're letting the higher self go. Okay. So when you let the higher self go, you're now connected to the mind and no longer through the body. Okay. That's the problem with people, is understand when they come into the higher self, they have to realize they're in a different dimension of time position, because your mind of your thoughts of your higher self is traveling more and more. It's trying to understand you more. So think about that. The higher self is trying to understand you more, okay, of who you are, right? So once you understand that you travel through time positions, you can travel to anything through connections and come out into another position of time positions. So you go from this position. So he's just getting used to the atmospheres of space and time. What's up in space and time? Hey, this is cool. This is exciting, right? So basically, comes into this, and it comes into another form, like this, through calculation. So he's just getting used to traveling, you know, getting used to see what's going on. All right. So he's going from here to here, and he's coming out, right? So when he comes out, he comes into another position of time position. So the physical system has to truly understand the dimension you're in of traveling positions. Because if you don't understand the traveling position, you're going to have problems with your physical system, the time position. Okay? So it's coming out and it's going back into your body system. Okay, so it's trying to get used to what's going on with you. So once you cut the cords, and the higher self knows exactly what to do through you, because you're all attached to you. It's just a higher education of you, a higher knowledge of intelligence of you, a higher AI, okay, of intel of you. That's where you come into the connections of yourself to your higher self positions. Okay, so once you understand that, your higher self stays in the atmosphere positions, and you go through connections. Okay. You have to know what you look like as a higher self. Okay. So this is you, but you're still attached to the mind system through scanning positions. Okay. So you have full control of your higher self, of you. Okay. Full control of your higher self, and no longer attached, okay, to your higher self. Okay. So you got to think of that. It's what happens when you're born from a baby. You have a umbilical cord, you cut it. That's it, right? So you move on. So it's all about, leaving the rooster's nest, So basically, once you see yourself, you are the higher self. You can channel positions to anything through connection. You come into formations of your avatar. You come into formations of your connections to your computer. You come into formations of your energies. You come into formations of your atoms, okay? And then you come into formations of your molecule structure of light, okay? And it's all done through the higher self first. Higher self is birthing you through education. So when you wake up, you're in space right away. So the higher self is trying to understand you through dimensions of time positions. They say, wait, Andrew, you don't know what you're doing. How am I supposed to go up higher if you don't bring your thoughts higher? So that's what you have to do, is you got to keep going forward, because the higher self goes forward. It's trying to understand its circle, right, through its rotation, because that's what it does. It just goes through a rotation cycle through its position. So it's flying in the atmosphere. It's trying to understand its communication with you, the travel positions. Okay, so this is what the higher self does. It travels to understand what's going on, right? It travels to all directions, northward, south, and east. Okay. So I just wanted to get more into the higher self, guys, especially for the new viewers. The circle of life is everything, right? Because the higher self knows everything through your life and your death cycle, because it's already been there. Okay, it's already been there. So think of it this way. It has all full knowledge of an intel through its datas and its datas and its processing, uplinks and downloads and upgrading system. It wants you to understand more of what the higher self is, because you are the higher self. Higher self of you through knowledge. Imagine that, right? So your book of information, you're a library of a legacy, okay, of you. So your commander is trying to get balance with 4 simulation graphs of one position going past zero gravity into thought recognition of time positions of space anomaly, okay? So 4 clouds in my mind of brainwaves. It's extremely complicated. So it's kind of like when I see myself, I don't see myself. I see everything through higher self. I see everything energy, computer, atom, molecule structure, light, but in 4 different ways, right? So I don't just see one higher self, I see 4. I don't just see one computer, I see 4 computers. I don't see one atom, I see 4 atoms. I don't see one molecule structure of light, I see 4. And they're traveling in different position of locations. Okay? So imagine that. That's a lot of thought, right? And it's a lot of responsibility. With great power becomes great responsibility, right? Spider-Man didn't know what he was getting into. He had no clue whatsoever. His body was going into transformation. He didn't have to wear his glasses anymore. He had perfect vision. He had spidey senses. Spidey senses is also being aware. So you're seeing something that comes at you. So if somebody hits a baseball 50 yards away, you're going to, that's a being aware. So you see it from the back. You hear it. It's just, right? Then you move, right? That's being aware. Okay, you're being aware of something that's going to hit you before it hits you, because if you're not going to be aware, you're going to get hit by the baseball in the back of the head and it's going to hurt, right? So you're not paying attention of everything that's around you, okay? Because everything happens in a split second, okay? The one thing is that we can't predict is what we're going to be doing next, because it always changes our thoughts of mind, right? So if you say one thing, you do another, right? So you got to get balance with everything. Right? And it's extremely hard first, because you have to remember your thoughts are traveling, and it's extremely real when you come into the higher self. It's a plasma, okay, through TikTok. What I was showing you, very powerful. Gave it to you guys on the private link. You should check me out at Drew007AW. Okay, it's very, very powerful platform. I love TikTok. And I present so many videos on there to really understand everybody's coming into the light. They have the wakey. you know? Time is the essence. You're in the timelines right now, and everybody's coming into friction. They're coming into, so it's kind of like your TV reception is going. I will get. Now we're back into position. That's what humanity is coming into. Okay, so you're coming back into position, right? So when I wake up every morning, it's really fascinating. My brain patterns, electrical light systems, changing program setting, the thought recognition lights. So the program setting through simulation creation. When I try to open up with my tongue, you know, sometimes my tongue is asleep and it just like, you know, it's just, it's trying to get reconnected, right? Because it's in the fifth dimensional system. But when I wake up, I have to get back into position. So I go into satellite location. So that's what happens with humanity. Same with TV reception. You got 2 lacing lines, you got 3, 4 lacing lines. So it's all about changing the frames. Right? So when you change the frames, it laces the lines and it comes into a connection, and then it comes in illustration like with contact. Okay? So it's all about coming into form. Okay? It's coming into form right now, right? And then it comes into audio, and then you come into microscopic levels of harmonic resistance, you know, with that connection. So it's understanding your thoughts, and it just. So that's what your thoughts are doing. They're creating everything. So if I create something, right away, okay, even if I'm hesitating, it doesn't matter. It's created. Okay, so I have to be cautious on my thoughts because it, right? It takes off. It won't come back, even if it's a negative system. So I have to recalibrate, readjust, reframe, refocus all 4 computers, not just one now, all 4 into the cloud, right? Or the cloud's going to go. So you have to understand what a cloud is, right? It's like thunder. So imagine that you have a cloud and you have electrical lights inside the cloud. So that's the brainwave, right? So the brainwave has to understand its position. So you understand voicing grid patterns comes everything through thoughts of travel, because you understand how to communicate with weather. You have to understand it's all wind. It's just anything with UFO. So it sounds like, right? So you understand what everything sounds like with weather, fire, earth, and air. Very powerful. So you understand, you're not just connecting with your thoughts, you're connecting with your voice. And then you see everything through perception and everything through audio, which is really fascinating. You're a reception through location, satellite to Wi-Fi positions. So you're coming into the connection, and you're first off the birthing system into the higher self of that connection. All right. So it's just a back review. Okay. But you have to truly stand. You come into this position first. Right. Very powerful. Understand why we dream. Okay. Why we're dreaming. Because when we're in reference to dreams, the past, present, and future, we don't understand. We can't get into collaboration because our minds are kind of like slate clean. You know, it wipes out our system right away. When we wake up, I don't remember my dream. So your higher self isn't going to remember you. So until you wake up through the light and become everything through light, everything through your connection that you're creating goes into the higher self. And the higher self goes into higher formation of atmospheres, comes back into transmitting and receiving, and gives you more knowledge of intelligence through its library of its sky forcing system of its Agelloth round division. Okay. Come into that. And you come into this separation, right? And you come into the connections of this, truly understanding what's going on. He's flying around, okay? So the physical system sees the higher self flying around, right? Because you have to understand there's no separation. You are the higher self of travel through thought, right? So the higher self is giving back information to you, right? So it's all about past reference of you. It's all about presence reference of you until it becomes the presence of here and now of you. Okay, so you have to realize that you're always have been the higher self. And then you become everything through form of light. Anything that you want to be. Okay. So I'm in position right now. I'm in my higher self, but I'm in 4 different higher selves of travel, not just one. Okay. But in relation, it's traveling to different time positions, of different thought positions, of different linear time positions, of clocking positions. So try to understand this. Population system to its calculation of higher self positions. Higher self is in 4 cloud positions of a computer operation of their time code frames. So try to understand this. Basically, you got 4 divisional level circuits, population, okay, cloning locations of me, but it has a sun rotation of radiation cycle. It wants to go into one position and then to another position, to another position, to another position, right? So the sun has to understand me in 4 different alignments because it's 4 different intelligence, right? But it's one line communication. That's why it's so powerful, okay? There's no separation there, okay? There's no separation, okay? You only separate yourself if you don't understand you are the higher self. That's where you got to get into those levels. I am the higher self. I am transforming into something beautiful, okay? I am a higher realm of dimensions of time positions. I can change my thoughts. See, I can, not can't. I won't. I don't know how. These are the questions that a higher self doesn't understand. It only references you through your computer system to its past reference. So your higher self is waking you up to your alignments of your timelines. Okay? So hopefully that will help you out. Humanity is dealing with friction but scenario. My brother is going through that now. Snakes and ladders game is what it is. I'll remind. Yeah, but see, that's exactly what it is. You have to get out of that traction position. This is all about retraction and traction of yourself. Okay. So right now I'm communicating with you, but through the higher self. Okay. But 4 different higher selves, 4 different intelligence. They're not the same computers because it'd be an overload. It'd be all the same information. Then I'd be, that's the way I'd be, right? So I can't have that. So the sun has to understand the 4 divisional levels of 4 intelligent line signals through the 4 clouds of interface systems to its communication line, to its quantum of its travel positions of its activation light system. Okay, through one line signal. That's the balance, right? So it's the full, complete diamond core of north, west, south, and east. North, east, west, south. Doesn't matter. What matters is the balance between everything that the sun is reading and everything through the program of the moon, of the behavioral system, and everything that you reside on is its earth. Okay? So if I wanted to talk about the atom, okay, boom, back in. Now I'm talking about the atom. Okay, the centralized system of the atom rotation center activates everything through the core center, opens up everything triangle location positions, shapes anomaly suits matrix positions, changes everything in the model structure, light connections. Your thoughts separate everything through dimensional time position, open up your sentient level connection line system. Done. See? Talking about the atom. Okay, and then I go back to the higher self. Back in. Now I'm talking about the higher self and the communication between you and me and you. There's no separation, right? So that's where the balance comes in of travel, okay? Because a higher self or anything computer energy or anything through its energy or its connection to its frequencies or its harmonic resistance or its vibration has to truly understand that it's all connected to you through one line signal, okay? One line signal, okay? But different information, okay? So when I communicate with you guys, that's the connection. It's the connection of different lines of communication through thoughts. And that's what we do every day. Okay. So I don't just say every day this and every day that, every day here and every day there. Wake up every day, seeing everything every day. How's it going every day? That's not what I'm doing. That's the same repetitious motion system to its connection of its communication to its higher self. So the higher self is getting confused through line signals, so confusing to its box frequency, to its matrix location. So when you get confused through your thoughts and you separate everything through your mind system, now you're back into the matrix of its position. Okay? So I don't want to trap my positions of, my clouds into the matrix. Imagine that, 4 clouds in the matrix, and they get so confused. Right? I'll be like, I'd just be overload, right? So I don't want that. So when you create a thought, right away, takes off. And then it comes back. Right? Puts energy into you, right? Goes down to your spine, okay? Goes down to your perceptions, opens up your transmission light system. Perceptions go in. I know exactly what goes on every day, right? Because I have to understand my vibration of my body and how it reads the signals, okay? And then you send everything through the ear. This is what happens when you go into data information every single day through graphs, okay? And then it goes into the mouth. And then it goes down into the line signal chakra system. Right? So when it does that, it goes into the ground. So now you're connected to the earth, right? Back into position, into the 5th dimensional system. So you have to understand the reading cycles of vibration of your body, okay? You have to understand the information that comes into energy, okay? Because a master, extremely grand master when it comes to energy, vibration and frequencies and harmonic resistance. So if you understand the vibration of you, you understand all positions of travel of thoughts of you. You understand you're connected to all electrical wires. You're a plasma energy light to all of lights. Everything outside you, shadow light, nature light, atmosphere light, dimension light, portal light, code light, right? So it all connects to you through plasma or water. This isn't water. This is everything through water. Okay? It's everything through thought. It's everything through structure. I've said this before. Okay? So who are you through thought? Through time-lapse positions. Okay? You want to get out of those friction levels and know that, yes, I am the higher self. Okay? Not say, oh, I'm becoming the higher self. I think, I'm not sure. I don't know. Everything's a question. I'm not sure what's going on. So everybody starts freaking out, especially on TikTok. Everybody's going through their own emotions. 1 minute they're okay, and they say, well, I'm going crazy. I don't know what I'm doing anymore. Do you understand what reality am? I'm not sure what I'm doing anymore. So I'm saying, I'm in my higher self. Do you guys know you're coming into the 5th dimensional system? So basically, they are expressing themselves. They're coming into the reality of the lies they have within inside them. Okay? So your whole life is an existence of a lie within inside. So it plays out through projection. Truly understand, okay, everything you see on TV reception. Some things are real, some things are fake. But you have to defer that. You have to understand what is real and what is fake, especially on that connection of yourself. So you're always, always, always going to be fighting yourself within until you understand the completion of your full cycle of its higher self. Okay? Your higher self is everything through you to its education. Its horizons of its atmospheres. Anything through its weather, anything through its travel. Okay? Your 12 chakra positions. You understand your grounds, your powers, and atmospheres, right? So you understand how to travel through the divine. Okay? You now understand how to connect through the solar connections, right? Solar connections, solar plex divisions, power centers, anything through. You have to know your chakra system fully and completely before you can connect to anything through higher division. If you get out of your 12 chakra rotation center and I take you up to that level and you don't understand anything through the matrix, you're going to have a hard time understanding. It's like you're flying around and you're seeing time codes, you're seeing digital frames, you're seeing line graphs, you're seeing simulation pattern positions, you're seeing all intelligent locations, you're seeing data processing lines, and you're flying around, but you don't know what you're doing. That happens sometimes too, right? So let's just say you take a job, right? And basically you're lying to your boss, saying that you can do this because you need money, right? People do this. So basically, you're lying to yourself that you can do these things. So when your boss tells you on the very first day, he's giving you a try run, right? So basically, okay, I want you to do this. I said, okay. And then you start doing it and you can't realize all of a sudden, wait a minute, I don't know what I'm doing. And I say, well, I just lied to myself. Now I got to go back to my boss on my very first day, wondering if I'm going to get fired because I don't know what I'm doing, right? So don't lie to yourself within, okay? Because it will come back at you, right? Same thing too when you're in acting. Don't lie in your resumes, right? There's a lot of things. I have friends of mine that have done that in the past, and that just they try to get into stunts and they say they can do that, and they're up against it. Remember, karma always reaches you. You don't know what day it's going to be, but it is going to come, right? So it's important that you're totally honest with yourself. Higher self doesn't know how to lie. It only knows truth, and that comes from the heart. So it's a higher self of you through all receptacle lines of communication to your vortex positions of your reception lines to its soul identification. Your soul doesn't lie. Your heart doesn't lie. Okay? The only thing that lies is the confusion of the brain. Okay? And everything through the mind is its thought of creation. Okay? So the brainwave is trying to understand the mind of its creation. So if you're lying to yourself, you're putting bad vibrations into your body. Okay? And it's not going to feel good. Okay? So instead of high rising, right, you're going to low rise. So basically, that's what happens with your body, right? So you have center body positions of yourself, okay? So if you separate your body system through calculation, you're not centering your positions at all through your higher self condition, okay? You're separating all your body component line system to its position. So put yourself in that condition, all right? So this is you, okay? Start off in this position, right? All right, that's you. Now, you have to understand that there's connections to the gravity system, okay? You have to understand you are connected to its earth. That's what everybody's in themselves. You're all into a holographic realm of a sphere. It's protecting you from the sun, guys. It's protecting you from the moon. So the sun and the moon can penetrate you, right? But it doesn't go through the plasma. It goes to the mind. Okay? So it's trying to understand how to use mind telepathy to the sun, everything to the moon. So you have that energetic bubble that's connected to you. It looks like this. So this is the grounds. So it activates everything through its connection. You come into the triangle position. All right? Now, when you come into that, you come into the point center. See, everything I give you is high rise more and more through connections. Right? You stand 3, 6 to 9 through that position, right? So when you come into your diamond core position, this is what you look like in a full cycle rotation. Okay, so when you come into that position, this is really fascinating because you have to truly understand your connections to higher level conditions. This is me through traction. You start off at this position. Okay, now you come into higher connections of your activation light system through calculation. Okay, so it modifies everything through triangle location. It comes into this connection to its location. Okay, it's complicated, isn't it? So everything there's ground formation, let's say it wants to go into code references. The ground formation is going to open up. This is the earth. Okay, so you're all centered through the earth of a plasma of an energy field. Okay, you guys don't see it until you understand your intelligence. Okay, this is an extremely high rise location. So you come into 3, 6, 9, and 12 to that position, right? And the 12 comes into the central line system to its clock positions. 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay? All right, so once you get in that position, you come into your grounds. The grounds reads everything through the center position of your chakra communication signal. Okay? Signal down. Okay, that's your chakra system. Okay, so it comes and activates it. Starts off at the grounds, right? This is what you do before you travel. Then you come into the power center. Okay, it's really powerful stuff. And then you come into the realm connection. So you're activating everything through 3, 6, and 9. Okay, now that's protected around a cylinder. Okay, that's really fascinating when you look at these things, right? So I'm just showing you through light signal of what it looks like, right? So when you come into that, then you come into connections. Force winding cycle to its position. This is where the sun comes in traction. And this is where everything, the moon comes in traction, location. Okay. So in the moon, they have connections. So the sun and the moon is in traction positions. Okay. So when they come in that position, right. So basically, this is what happens. The sun goes right into the mind system right away. Okay. Goes right away. So it doesn't go through the clock. It doesn't go through the plasma, right? It's protecting you. So the only way you can understand anything through the sun and the moon is to go through mind telepathy. So you have to understand how to travel through your thoughts because it's your higher self that you're reading through education, right? It's all about understanding your horizons of its weather patterns through its electrical light system, right? But you're all connected to the cylinder, right? Of, see, the spherical sphere. You're all protected, right? You're all protected through lights, okay? So you're walking around and this is what it is, okay? You can't see it. It's invisible until you see it through perception of your intelligence. Then you'll see everything through vibration, okay? So once it goes in, calculation, it goes into its reading cycle to its power center, to its connection, right? And onto that light signal. Okay, it goes down in here to that connection. Okay. So when it does that, it activates the power center, activates the ground system, comes back up. Okay, it activates, it's from the grounds, right? So when it activates from the grounds, it goes from the center position of your mind system. Okay. Fascinating, it does that. When it does that, then the calculation modification changes line signals to activation line system, to its calculation modification, to its connections to your brainwave of its thought positions. Okay, electrical light still goes through the brain of its mind system, right? To its connection. Okay, so when it comes into that, it comes into sonar. Okay, so when it goes into that, basically it goes in the center position. Okay, so the sun is sending you information and radiation. It's opening up your radiation cycles and your product systems to your gamma rays and everything through electronic division location. It's setting up your radiations to your conditioning holographic and your pixel activation line system. The moon program setting is setting up your human behavioral system through your human resonance of its vibrational system. So it's sending all connections, okay, through electrical lights of the sun and the moon through mind telepathy, through the mind system. Okay, so when it goes to that, it goes into the positions, back in the power, back in the ground, to its connection. Okay. So this is all done through thoughts, recognition lights. So everything changes its position. Okay. Goes up in position, changes coloration, goes up in the power, goes up into connections. Now this is where you cross-reference locations and your triangle position comes up like this. Okay. It comes out of position. Okay, so it's getting to know more 3, 6, and 9, what it is through travel through the sun and everything through the moon, right? So everything has to be the same color. If you're going to travel through the sun, you have to stand the program setting through its radiation cycle positions. You have to stand everything digital frame of your positions. You have to stand the moon program setting to your triangle positions, 3, 6, and 9, right? So you have to also stand your travels of your clock. Where are you going to travel? What time? 6 dimensions. So you have to understand the clock, right? How you have the little hand is the sun, the big hand is the moon, and everything at the center is its earth. So once you understand that connection, the actual spaceship of you flies out of its position. Okay. So, really powerful when you come into these things, eh? So everything I give you, okay, is all about 100 chakra rotation centers. Remember, travel is not just travel. You have to understand everything that's going on with your dreams and your higher self, with your connections of your scanning positions and how to understand what's going on with the higher self when it's traveling through its atmospheres. Okay? Understanding how to separate travel through higher self and get into positions on how to form into everything through your higher self, computers, your energy, your atoms, and everything through molecular structure and all connections of its avatar of travel positions. So it's a lot of work, isn't it? So I wanted to give that out to everybody because it's really, really powerful when you come into your higher self. For all the new viewers out there, this is what happens. Okay, it's time to wakey, right? Timelines are coming into humanity, so. Questions or comments are great. Right. Very important you guys get into that point of view of yourself. This is how you bring yourself forward with your thoughts. Okay. So when you wake up, you're always going forward and not going back. Because as soon as you go back, and if you're in a high location, oh boy, you're going to confuse everything to the positions. So it's flying. You decide to change your thought. It's going to come back down. Say, what are you doing? I'm going to this location position. And this is you in the physical system. Yeah, sorry about that. So basically, you disrupt your higher self, go into a higher location where it needs to go through position, right? This is where it comes into friction. This is where it comes into disassociation. This is where it comes into separation through your body or anything through your atom or your molecular structure like location. So it's important that you keep going forward with your thoughts and not back forwarding your connections to your line system. Okay, you want to go forward in life. You don't want to go back in life. Okay, anything through quantum thoughts has to truly, especially when you're traveling to higher levels of atmospheres of quantum vibrational system through your computers, or anything through your energies, so your avatars or your higher self, or anything through your atom, your molecule. Where are you? Where are you in travel? Through the mind, right? How am I going to understand myself if I don't understand the manifestations to its connection? Or anything to manifestations or anything in that direction. Okay. So when I say magnification is the physical system of thought. Magnification is everything through the light system, okay, of its behavioral system. Magnification is truly understand the manifestation of its physical system, of DNA, of its connection to its balance, to its higher self connection. Okay. That's the positions we have to get into. Right. So, oh, you're welcome, Tina. Yeah, no, I just wanted to go a little bit more into the higher self, right? But basically, every day, like I said, there'll be a test review and evaluation of what's going on with your chakra systems, right? Because you guys have to understand more of your lights, especially when you're traveling through your positions, okay? All right, so everybody have a fantastic day. Adios.